All right, I'm here with another discussion video. I'll be discussing today a few games that I think are underrated from the decade of the 2010s. I'm sure I could pick out a whole lot more games that I think are underrated, but these are a few that I really enjoyed and I never really saw too many people talking about. So maybe I can introduce you to a new game, something you might not have tried before, something you might not have even heard about before. I'm not doing any really deep polls that I think, but um, I figured might glean some information from this and maybe want to check out something that you've never seen or never thought about trying. So the first one I'm going to go through, even though I said this should be from the 2010s, this is a bit of an exception. As you can see, it's a PS4 game, 428 Shibuya Scramble. So obviously, PS4 was not out before the 2010s. So this game was technically released last year, 2018. However, it was originally released back in 2007 or 2008 for the Wii. And I'm a big visual novel fan, not like the horny type visual novel, but like more of the mystery type visual novel. Um, and I had heard all this game. This game got a lot of praises. I remember it got like a perfect score in Famitsu, and I thought that was pretty cool. I wanted to try it out, but for the longest time it was just exclusive to Japan. But luckily, last year we got a physical release and just an English release. It is on PS4. It's also on Steam if you are into PC gaming. But this is a Spike Chunsoft game. They do a lot of other games in this vein, but this one's really cool. You have 5 different protagonists, and you go hour by hour. So you start off at I think like 12 o'clock or something, and it just goes hour by hour throughout a day. And you'll pick one of the protagonist's lines of just times, I guess I should say, and it comes out in this like line chart, kind of like the Persona 4 Dancing All Night or the Arena Ultimax game, if you played those. How they have lines, that does not a really good comparison. Probably a pretty niche comparison, not a really good comparison. But yeah, you pick one of the characters' times, and then something will happen. Maybe you'll get a bad ending for that person's time. Maybe you'll get this thing called a keep out, where they will not let you go any further until you access something in there. So, for example, say a character did something and they walk somewhere and then some people come over and beat them up or something. I think this is one of the examples. Some people come and beat them up because they're at the wrong place at the wrong time. So you want to go to someone else's. It's kind of a puzzle game because you want to go to someone else's line then and have them then do something that would unravel that and make it so that that doesn't happen to them. So they might, distract those people that come and beat them up and send them to a different place, or they might distract the person themselves, the protagonist themselves. It's really interesting. I don't want to go too far into spoilers because it gets pretty wild. It starts off small with just kind of a kidnapping plot, and then it just continually unravels and becomes bigger and bigger and constantly thickens. And it's really a cool game. I would highly recommend it. You see it on sale a lot on the PlayStation Store. I think this physical copy is a little bit hard to come by. It's like $50 and it doesn't really go on sale. But it's like regularly like goes on sale for like $15 on the PlayStation Store. I think it's 30 regularly, and I highly recommend it if you're into that. I didn't really give it a great synopsis because you can't really describe it. There's not much like it. But it's an easy-ish platinum. If you are willing to follow a guide and kind of collect some bad endings, it's pretty funny. There's some funny bad endings. Some of them are pretty ridiculous. It has what's his name, Nasubi, the comedian that was like the real life Truman Show guy. Look that up. It's really fascinating. They had him. Now I'm derailing a little bit. They had him go on to like they locked him in a room or something as part of a show. They said, "Oh yeah, we're going to be filming the show, and then we're going to release it once you're done. And we're going to lock you in this room, and all you can do is like you have to fill out magazine like offers or sweepstakes, and then that's all you can use is stuff you win from sweepstakes." And little did he know that they were actually broadcasting him the whole time, and so he gets out of there and he's famous. It's bizarre. He's in this game. He's one of the kind of supporting characters. He has a pretty big role. He went on being like a Japanese comedian, but it's really funny. Interesting game, highly recommended. Kind of droned on there, but figured, it's an interesting story, interesting game. So we'll move on now. Another game I recommend is Catherine. which it's on PS3 360, as well as it was just released in an updated version on the PS4 as well. I'd recommend the PS4 version, but you're not going to really go wrong with the PS3 or 360 version. There's also a Steam version called Catherine Classic. That's just the original. The new one's called Full Body. It adds some stuff, adds a new character. That stuff all kind of feels tacked on, the new additions, but it does add a nice amount of puzzles and stuff like that. But what it is basically this guy every night has nightmares where he is climbing this tower. And this game's, it's like, I don't know how to describe this one either. It's like Q*bert almost. You do these puzzles. It's tough as nails. You do these puzzles, you push around blocks, and it's really fascinating. It has a really fascinating story. I don't want to go too far into it because I think it's just best to know as little about the game as possible from the story standpoint. It's developed by P Studios, which is the Persona developer. This is what they did in between Persona 4 and Persona 5. This came out in 2011 originally. And you can see a lot of the original DNA of Persona 5 within this game. Obviously, it was their first, P Studios' first HD project. So you got to see kind of the character models look a lot like the Persona 5 character models and all that. And it's just really cool. It's really interesting. It's fascinating. There's like a Evo competitive scene for some of the puzzles and how you can do them. It's really, really cool. And I would highly recommend it, especially if you're a Persona fan, because there is so much of kind of the DNA of Persona 5 in this game. It's a shorter game. You can probably finish it in about, I'd say 15 hours, 20 hours maybe, and then you can do other runs and get other characters, because there's 3 in the original version. There's 2 Catherines, and there's 3 in the updated version. So you can do different runs. You can also do, I don't want to get into too many spoilers. You can do a run where you don't go with any of them. I don't think that's a spoiler. But really, really cool game. Really, really unique. There's nothing really like it. Like I said, the closest comparison is Q*bert, and that's not really the best comparison. And don't feel ashamed to go on easy because it is a tough game. So just prepare yourself for that. But it's really, really cool. Moving on, it's been a really long while since I played this one, but I had a lot of fun with this game. This is Fantasy Life for the 3DS. This was developed by Level 5, so pretty famous Japanese studio responsible for a handful of Dragon Quest games, Professor Layton, Yokai Watch, Ni no Kuni, White Knight Chronicles. They have a pretty good backstory, and this is like it's an RPG. It's almost like a life sim type game. It's almost like Animal Crossing in a sense, but I wouldn't go as far. You get to pick all these different classes, and then you just kind of live the life as a class. So you could be, I remember I played the Paladin, so you can be like one of these, fighting classes, or you can be like a chef, as you can see here. So you can do like a non-combat role as well. So it's really interesting. It's been a while since I played it, so I can't really tell all the minutia, but I remember putting a lot of time into it and think it was really cool. And it's definitely a good 3DS gem. If you are really into the 3DS, still playing the 3DS, looking for something to play since there's not too much releasing on it now, I'd say go back and give Fantasy Life a shot. It's really, really good. Next 2 I got here are both RPGs. This is kind of RPG heavy, I guess, on the latter half. But it's kind of, obviously I'm talking about stuff that I am into. This one's probably the least, least well-known. It's Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. This is what came out of the Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem project. Not exactly what everyone would have wanted, but if you actually played the game, you'd find that it's a really great dungeon crawling JRPG. Has a really fantastic battle system. You kind of build up relationships like friendships with the characters in your party, and then they can come in and do bonus attacks if you get if you hit the weakness. I haven't played this since 2016, so if I mess some stuff up, I apologize. But this game, I guess I'll get to that first. This game's actually being released on the Switch in January of 2019, an updated version. That's why I figured I'd give it a shout out, because a lot of people didn't play it on the Wii U. A lot of people didn't have the Wii U. It came out pretty late into the Wii U lifespan. It was like June of 16, so not everyone got a chance to play it. But yeah, and it's a Persona-like, really. It's really like that series. So if you like that series, you're going to like this. It's a lighter version of that. But it still has a lot of the different elements. The story is, stupid and dumb and doesn't really matter. But that combat is great. That combat is fantastic. And you can even, as you build up and level up stuff, you can even get people who are currently not into your party to come in and like jump in on your attack. And you can get like a huge attack and trigger all these attacks and come in. And the battle system is great. And it's really cool. It's coming to the Switch. The Wii U version used the gamepad a little bit. It had like a little cell phone that you had to answer, and they would kind of tell you what to do sometimes, or tell you different things about the game, and the characters would like text you or whatever. So they'll probably just make that a menu. It does not really need the gamepad, but it is a really, really good JRPG. It doesn't do a whole lot of stuff really, I guess, new or unique, but it has a good battle system and a fun world overall. It takes place in just regular Shibuya, modern day Shibuya, so it's kind of cool. I'd say give it a shot. I mean, you can get the Wii U version for really cheap. Pick up the Switch version. I don't know if I'm going to be picking up the Switch version, but I might, because I really liked it. I'll have to see what I'm up to in January. But yeah, really, really, really good game. And the last one I'm going to show today is another JRPG, and another game that gets compared to Persona a lot. And it kind of is to an extent. It's more like, I heard someone say it was like Persona Cross Suikoden, which, I mean, if your game can be compared to that, then that is fantastic. It's in good company there. The game is The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel. There is a sequel, and there's also a third one that's, I think, releasing this month as of this video coming out on the PS4. I have not beaten the second one. I do want to get back to that, but I've beaten the first one all the way through, and really, really enjoyed it. Really cool RPG. Where it shines most is its world and its world building. It follows like a class of students in a military academy, and you get the characters, you get the kind of the character dynamics and the growth, and you get the go different places in this really, really unique world. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of steampunky, I guess, to an extent. I would say probably steampunk is a pretty decent comparison, but it's not quite steampunk. But it's fantasy, but not like high fantasy type stuff. I'm not huge into high fantasy, as you can probably tell. So, but I really like this one. It's ported to PS4 as well. Both of the games is also on PS3, and as I have it on Vita, I think it was a really good game to have on the Vita. I'm a big Vita fan, one of the 12 big Vita fans, but yeah, I would recommend it. It has a lot of that Persona-ness to an extent, but it's vastly different, I'd say. But it still has a lot of that similar. It's definitely comparable, and it's really, really unique. The battle system's pretty cool, but it's, like I said, nothing huge. This is part of a larger series. There's Trails in the Sky and all that, but this just stands on its own. Apart from that, as much as I can tell, because it's the only one I've played. But I played all the way through this, about 50 hours, so a bit long for an RPG, but not like Dragon Quest level long or Persona 5 level long. And I'd highly recommend it. So that is that then. Just 5 games from the 2010s that I thought were kind of underrated. If you have any games from this decade, any of the systems going back to Wii and PS3 and 360 up to now, if you have any games from this decade that you think are underrated, leave a comment down below, because I'm always looking for good game recommendations of stuff that I've never seen or never played or never heard of. So yeah, leave some comments down below. If any of these games sound interesting to you, feel free to give them a shot. I tried to pick ones that are easily playable now, like how Catherine's now on PS4, or how, they're porting Tokyo Mirage Sessions to Switch soon, or how they just ported Trails of Cold Steel to PS4. Trying to pick stuff that was a little bit easier to get your hands on. I'm not going to try to come out here and be like, yeah, this game's really great. It's too bad it's a $180 game or whatever. Just trying to pick some stuff that might be easy and accessible to play, and also some stuff that I think deserves some more attention. Um, yeah, like I said, leave a comment down below of any games that you think are underrated. Let me know how you think about this video. I'd like to maybe change up the formula. I know this is more of a video to listen to, like as a podcast type thing, just not much going on back here. But let me know how you like this. If you have any, criticism, hopefully constructive. But if you tell me I suck, it's just another comment and gets me some good points with the algorithm. So feel free. But yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Follow me on Twitter at Objo Gaming, and I will see you next time.